Hello everybody, this is our part 3 as we train our students as a community to manage their trauma, psychological, emotional trauma. And I just want to start by saying thank you so much for following these videos, because this is something that everyone needs. We all need this. There isn't a person on this planet that is alive and breathing that just won't benefit from this. We all need this. And we will all suffer some sort of psychological, means the thinking and emotions tied together and the influence of the two. So I perceive certain things as being stressful and it makes me anxious. That's psychological and emotional, where I'm just highly emotional, anxious maybe all the time because I just don't feel safe. So we're gonna throw in here even stress that's related to trauma. I walk around, I just feel the stress in my chest and in my head, where I just don't know what to expect, and every little thing is setting me off, and I feel maybe held hostage by these symptoms, hostage. And these symptoms are really less symptoms than they are functions. Functions meaning the way that the body works. The body, and your brain being part of the body, all work just like the engine of a car. You know, you have the gas comes into the engine, it pumps the pistons, you have spark plugs to provide certain level of electricity. I guess, I'm not a car guy. You have oil that's in the car, and they all have to circulate and depend on each other. Well, that's the way communities work. It's very important as your school community that everyone works together, number one. Number two, that we learn to trust each other. And then 3, we are loyal, which means it is reliable that I will be there for you as a community member, whether I'm an adult that works there or I'm a student helping and caring for other students, just being a good guy. I don't have to be a parental figure to be a caring person. I just need to be a person that will listen sometimes. Every day when we wake up, we have 3 details of gratitude, which is what are we grateful for? So this morning I woke up and I said, I'm so grateful I get to walk my 2 dogs outside, love them. They are responsible for me staying in good shape because I exercise every morning by walking them, whether it's 4:30 in the morning, which I wake up often. It can be 5:30 if I feel lucky and I get an extra hour of sleep, or 6:30 if it's on the weekends. And then I try to get them again later that day. And if I can't, somebody in my house will walk them, but I'm still gonna be working out today. I'm grateful for having these opportunities. Time with the dogs, number 1. Number 2, that not only exercise with the dogs, but I exercise anyway. So I'm going to the gym. I have a gym at my home. And if I didn't have a gym at my home, I would be picking up paint cans that are full and just be doing breathing with paint cans. And how do I know that? Because I did that when COVID hit and we couldn't go to a gym and I didn't have exercise equipment in my home. And number 3, I have people around me who love me and I love them. And that is family. And if you're not, if you're short on family, meaning you don't have a lot of family members left or you're not able to be with them, you have to identify someone who you trust, who you believe in. It could be a public figure, somebody who really has the principles and philosophy that you stand by and you believe in. I know entertainers that I just believe in. Justin Bieber is one of my favorite. He's a strong Christian. I believe in so many of his principles. I believe in him and his lyrics and what he stands for. For somebody else, it might be a sports figure. So what does all this mean? In order for me to be a person who has a responsive, not reactive manner in which I handle stress, is what allows me to be a reliable, loyal, and predictable team member. If people see me as a guy that's triggered and fired up and I'm inconsistent, I'm unreliable, not only will people not want to spend time with me, but they'll be scared of me. That's not the goal. So part 3 of us learning as a community how to manage our trauma. And if you're an educator and you're using these videos with your students to learn yourself and then deliver to them, or you're watching this with your students, it is so important that we remember that even though I'm teaching breathing exercises, and I'm going to give you other tools besides that, you have to really understand your body is only able to prevent and de-escalate very specific triggers to your trauma, the psychological and or emotional stressful trauma, if your body feels safe. Your brain has to perceive that what is around you is in fact safe. If it's not perceiving that, which is a big part of what I'm recommending as part 3, as you're doing these exercises, we're gonna do the breathing again in a minute, is that you have to keep reminding people that we are in a very safe, or if it's not safe yet, caring community. It's reliable, it's predictable, or it's accountable. It's so important. So as we're doing the breathing, right, we want to remind ourselves. So let's say I'm breathing in through my nose. So now I'm starting to do self-talk. I'm going to create a mindset. This is part 3 of this. I'm going to create a mindset and talk to myself and say while I'm breathing in my head that I am in a safe community. And if I'm in a school that really hasn't been all that safe, we've had a lot of instances of aggression, I would say to myself in my head, I'm in a school where people care about me. I'm in a school where I'm very connected with this one teacher who really believes in me. I'm in a school that I really want to make a difference because I want to be a leader to help our school become less aggressive. I'm in a school that is in my community where I belong to a church, and together our school and our church and the people in our community will build wellness and make this a better place. You can do this while you're breathing. So part 3 is the self-talk. We're going to call that integrative mindset. We're going to bring in the way we perceive information to coordinate it with our breathing so that we are doing self-talk with breathing. So we're calming down and we are actually changing the way we think. So the breathing and the mindset go hand in hand. Why is that so important? Because when people are ramped up, watch, man, like, damn this place, I hate these people, and they're angry. This guy, I knew he was a rat, can't trust this guy. The second they become upset, the mind gets saturated with negative thoughts. We call that ANTS, automatic negative thought syndrome. We ruminate on fear because we are upset and stressed, and we then feel vulnerable. When we feel vulnerable, no one feels trustworthy, and that's a problem. Now, is it the end of the earth? No. So as we calm ourselves, right? Breathing in, watch it. Beginners. Breathing in. Breathing out. Now I'm breathing in and I'm saying to myself, in my head, I'm a good guy. I try hard. I'm loyal to the people around me. I'm breathing out, saying, my football coach is a good guy and he stands by me even though he pushes me, but he believes in me and he protects me. And I breathe in and I say to myself, I'm a good guy and I will not give up being a good guy because I have great principles. And I breathe out and I say to myself, like my coach, I too am going to be a role model, and I too will help others and serve a good purpose in my community. And I'm creating positive talk to defeat the negative thoughts that go through every human being's mind. This is not a New Jersey thing. It's not a United States thing. This is worldwide. It's not about men versus women, white versus black, old versus young. In the center of your brain, you have 2 glands called the basal ganglia, and this is what they're responsible for, to make people cautious. The problem is when your stress hormones ramp up, this area gets so much blood flow pushing through it that it takes what makes you or allows you to be cautious, and it makes us feel overly cautious, almost scared. And what happens when you have scared with stress hormones? We become fighters. What happens when blood flow becomes rampant? It goes to our hands, makes us want to rip things, tear it apart, throw a chair, push things down, kick something on our way out the door. or it makes you run. That's why it's called fight or flight. So we want to train our students, and we write down the lines that we want our students to recite in their heads. And if someone wants to be in the front of the class and show everyone as an ambassador, the ninja master of how to self-talk and build resilience. This is resilience building for the community, for the masses. You want to build resilience, have somebody, give them extra credit, email their parents, tell them what an ambassador of resilience and wellness they are, make them feel special so everyone wants to come to the front of the room to show how resilient they're becoming by just repeating. Now I'll say it out loud, watch. I'm going to breathe out. I'm going to say, I am a loyal, dedicated student to this school. Breathe in. Out. I am a loyal and dedicated student to this school and community. I am a loyal and dedicated student to the school and community. And we do it a couple times. The more that we do it, the more that we believe it. The more it trains our brain to calm down. We don't want students gaining strength when they're ramping up, because that's what a lot of people say. You gotta have the strength. They have strength. That's not the problem. We want them to have faith. We want them to have confidence. We want them to have gratitude. We want them to ask for confidence. We want them to ask for mindset. We want them to ask for visuals of what to be grateful for in that moment. Why should I respond versus react? You should respond because you're not in a life-threatening situation. You react when you are. You want to respond because we want you making a good decision. You can react when it's life and death. We want you to respond because you're a decent person who has great common sense. But if you react, you won't use it. And this is how we train our community and the masses. Everybody has to be a part of this. We can do it 5 minutes before we start class. We can do it 5 minutes before we end. If everyone's doing this in a school, the students will become resilient together. Follow this. Opposite of psychotherapy. We're not going into what's bad and what caused the trauma, which is why everyone can do this. We're not diving into their mental illness and why they have anxiety disorder. We are just taking the brain, what it does naturally, and we're competing with it and rewiring it. We're having positive self-talk. Why we're learning to breathe and calibrate the breathing and the self-talk, just like pro athletes who are brilliant under pressure do to become high performers. Let's make our students high-performing, resilient, well people with gratitude so they develop as a community together. It's part 3. Let's keep going and let's keep pushing and keep using the Dr. Buzz method. Stand by for part 4.